Annoying.
Toot, toot, baby, it's time to ride the funk train. We are here with. Why are my glasses? My glasses are perfectly level on my head, and yet they look askew. We're here with Tracy. Tis Yaste, human here, star of WJHCAM, and we've got some exciting stuff to talk about today on the program. Now, I was supposed to be partying. You were with Luke's people last week at the shindig, and I was supposed to be there tonight, but something came up. I had a pretty
I've got to do something about this sound. You're just gonna have to talk to everybody else for a few minutes so that I can figure out how I can make it where I can hear you.
You've
aggravating. I'm sorry.
You've had bad sound for 6 months or a year. How long have we been doing this?
Testing.
Okay. Well, we're not going to do that right now.
Dang it.
Let's talk to you. All right.
Where am I at? There we go.
Look at you. You look radiant as hell. What have you been into? It's been a while.
Nothing much. It has been a while. I've been busy.
Well, we all have. And what? It's like, what is going on with my glasses? I can't figure out. They're like askew, and I can't get them to look cool. When you can't get bootsy.
The hair.
Yeah, I'm growing my hair out, which is exciting. And you've got the F me hair going on.
I do.
And our guest today canceled because of what do you say? Small penis, or why do you call him?
An emergency. But
oh my God, what was happening?
I didn't ask. It's not my business.
Everybody's excited to hear this guy on the show. He could have at least lied to us about something. He probably was high. We've been doing this a year.
Tracy's high right now.
Still can't figure out how to get sound. Now you sound good today. What have you done differently?
I have new earbuds.
Oh my God, look at that. Now see that this is something I've got right on the front of right where my house is, right where the front door is. I've got a new microphone or headphone set up, and I was trying to decide which one to give it to you, since you guys have the crappiest sound of anybody ever does the podcast. And now I know. Now you sound perfect. Now I need to give it to Goofball over here, who's still trying to figure out her sound. Are you better? Are you better now? I unmuted you. Wait a minute. Okay, she's having a rough time. Hey, Michael Leach is in the chat. How you doing, honey? We got a lot of stuff to talk about, and we haven't talked as a group. I miss Luke. I miss Travis. I miss you guys. So we've been away from each other for a little while, but we have a nice unifying. Tracy, she's distracting me at this point. We have a nice.
Sure, it's not my radiant beauty. You haven't seen me in so long.
You're kind of just freaking hot. It's unbelievable. I'm having a hard time over here. I am a man after all. But we got some exciting stuff. God, I look tired today. I went to West Virginia. I took a guy who I've been in the car for about 11 hours. And so that's why I'm not with Luke. Yeah, we're going to get rid of her here. She's being weird. All right. When you get better, Tracy, when you figure it out, there's nothing better than firing Tracy. That's my favorite part of the show. You're fired. Anyway, she's having a hard time. Again, she's been doing this a year in the same location. She hasn't moved. Same equipment. But anyway, so got a lot of stuff going on today. What do we want to talk about first? Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson punched a guy on a plane today.
That's exciting.
That is exciting. That's feel bad for Mike in a way. Of course, Mike, I think he's a convicted rapist, so I'm not sure why society let him back in anyway. But he found God, Allah. He became a Muslim, and now he's starting to do. He did the Hangover. Everybody was frightened of Mike Tyson. Now he's kind of been lampooning himself for years, right, so white people will not be so afraid of him. So he had a cartoon. Have you ever seen the Mike Tyson Mysteries?
I've heard of it, but I never watched it.
I don't like anything. I'm becoming so cynical. I don't even like pizza anymore. I'm just becoming this old, crotchety old man. I just yell at non-existent children who aren't on my front yard. I'm just becoming a big curmudgeon. But this Mike Tyson Mysteries, which also had Norm Macdonald, he was a pigeon in it. Funny as hell. He was in The Hangover.
Yeah.
Mike Tyson was really making fun of himself hard on that cartoon. There we go. You better? Can't hear you.
She's muted.
I'm trying to unmute her. Can't unmute
now
because okay, beautiful.
I can hear you.
All right. Well, when you get done eating, you can come back on the show. So, because I hate the sound of that in my ear. I mean, nobody wants to hear that. So Mike Tyson, I guess the quickest way to get rich in the world is irritate Mike Tyson. And this guy, who was a drunk guy who kept hounding Mike Tyson allegedly for an autograph on an airplane today, irritated Mike Tyson enough to get punched in the head. So that guy, that drunk, stupid dude, is going to be a millionaire because he goaded Mike Tyson. And that hurts Mike Tyson. But, Mike Tyson, who in the fuck would want to fight Mike Tyson even at this age? Like, Mike Tyson, did you hear his promo that he did a couple years ago when he fought Roy Jones Jr. and he started crying? He's like, I'm not a pussy. I don't want, there's something inside of me. I'm not a pussy. I don't want to kill him. I don't pray to Allah. I'm like, please don't let me kill this man. And all his contemporaries. Yeah, and he's weeping on the sports show. And everybody who's his contemporary, like there was Sugar Ray Leonard and everybody was like looking at him like, hey, you're crazy as shit. But anyway, I wouldn't mess with Mike Tyson. Not too many people I wouldn't mess with. Mike Tyson is on a short list, but you would get paid. You would get paid.
Is it worth $1 million to get punched by Mike Tyson? I mean, that's a story.
I don't know. People all the time say, we don't talk about our personal lives very much on the show because we're entertainment, but a situation happened. You ladies know this a little bit. We don't go into it very much, but a situation happened with a family member less than a month ago where some malpractice almost led to somebody that's very, very close to me dying at a hospital.
Mm-hmm.
And now that I'm weeks away from that incident and how horrible that was, the thought of if that person had died going into this long litigious battle, I don't know if I'd have the stomach or the legs to sue a hospital. A lot of people be like, yeah, man, get your money. They did something wrong. Mm-hmm. But there's you ever been to court? I've been to court more than almost several lawyers. I've been sued and taken to court so many times over previous child custody things. It wears you out. It wears you down. It's the worst thing in the world. So I don't know if getting punched by Mike Tyson is worth $1 million. Because then there's a good chance of having CTE or some sort of concussion syndrome the rest of your life, or falling asleep.
Jaw.
Yes, broken orbital bone. I was in, me and Luke were in Chicago last year, and we saw a guy get punched in the face just one time. This guy was saying shit online and didn't apologize for it. And he's a narcissist anyway, and he was saying things like, I'm sorry you feel that what I said was offensive, instead of saying, hey, man, let's just put it to bed or whatever. And the guy he said something, if I'm not mistaken, I can't remember, but about the guy's dead mother. And the guy even said online, he was like, if I ever see you again, I'm going to break your face. And so they were talking, and the guy just hauled off, and the guy eventually just did not apologize, and no excuse for this. But a guy just punched him in the eye, and he broke his orbital bone. And this guy's not Mike Tyson. This guy's a tough guy, but he's not a Mike Tyson tough guy. So, yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't want to tangle with Tyson. Like I said, there's several guys I wouldn't mind fighting, but Tyson is not one of those guys.
Now the Tyson chicken, I can take that on any day. Tyson chicken We just had that for dinner, actually. We use
Oh,
it
yeah?
for chicken parmesan.
I had chicken parm the other day at this place. I've moved to Morristown, Tennessee, and there's a nice little restaurant up here called the Little Dutch. And like Lily Tomlin goes there quite a bit because I think Lily Tomlin's wife is from Morristown. And then Harrison Ford goes there a lot because one of his people, his wife's people, is from Morristown. So there's pictures of them on the wall. But they prepared a chicken parm with a baked chicken. And who eats that? Not breaded. I don't know. We're into the South. I didn't know.
That's odd.
They fry everything down here. I didn't know I had to specify that I wanted breaded chicken parm.
That would be weird, having a naked chicken on spaghetti.
It was okay, but it was unsatisfying. I did feel like, oh man.
Your arteries were gypped.
Right.
I mean,
my heart wanted to kind of have to muscle through it. But
Yeah.
Speaking of muscling through, did we talk about did we talk about Wrestling with Ghosts that you guys were on? Did we talk
Not
about
yet.
that last week, Tracy?
I want to see. I can't wait to see the episodes.
Well, coming this week, Wrestling with Ghosts. Sorry, I was reading the chat there. Sorry if I sounded stammering there. But Wrestling with Ghosts on Asai TV and Intrigue TV and Saltbox, we have episode 3.4 and 3.5 coming out where we went down to South Carolina. And you guys haven't seen the episodes, and it hasn't been aired on Asai TV. They're going to wait until their relaunch in June. So it's only going to be on Intrigue coming up. But any questions from you guys on either one of those episodes?
So how crazy was the Devil's Circle?
Well, the Devil's Circle is a cemetery down there that's also called Circle Cemetery, and it's also called Fowler Cemetery, and it's also called Collins Cemetery, and it's in a place called it's kind of like Mike Tyson. It's kind of like the God, or it's kind of like the devil. It's kind of like Soda. It's got several names. It goes by several monikers.
Chicken.
But it's a place. Yes, it's a place that Candy went when she was a little girl, or young adult, 20-ish, and she would go down there and horse around. And she never went back by herself because she said that there was like intelligent responses to her, voices in the darkness, disembodied voices telling her, "Hey, nice shoes," or something, or like, whatever, like telling her to get the fuck out or whatever. And she's like, you know what, I'm gonna listen to you. So when you do an episode, you never know what you're gonna catch. And for some reason, about 90-something% of the time, we have enough to fill up an episode. And so to answer your question, there was so much paranormal activity that it was wipe your lip, honey. You look like a jabron there. Thank you. It looked like you couldn't put it all in the episode because our episodes.
You did a two-parter.
Hey, you could have. The outdoor episodes. I don't like them because it's just people in the darkness. And I know in our mind's eye, we remember how remote this place was. And I loved the topography of driving down there and just how everything was flat. And there'd be these giant fields to these crazy dense tree lines way off.
Mm-hmm.
And you drive through these ghost towns, which were hurricane cities, which were towns where a hurricane would come through. Everybody would leave the town and nobody'd come back. And those are creepy. In fact, we're going to film Camp Smokies, a couple of scenes down there in Fairbluff, which was the town that we went in that we kind of went back and videotaped. But beautiful night. I mean, looking at the footage, if you guys remember, it was just a gorgeous night. We shot that in November. And just with the technology and the cameras we had, you could just see everything was illuminated, and it was just beautiful that night. So it was a good time. But when you do an episode, even though your camera work, Amber, was the best of most people's camera work that night, because people were fucking killing me. They were we would be in a dialogue and they'd move the camera and thump, 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 and the camera would shake. And I'd be like, we've been doing this for a while. What was everybody doing? I couldn't believe it. I sucked at it. Luke sucked at it. You were the best camera person by far. But people were breathing next to the microphone.
Oh,
So
God.
what do you think? So, well, we're down here at the Causey. Like, it sounded like a perverted guy on the other end of it. But
Ew.
so when you have 2 episodes back to back, that's pure darkness. Like the Causey Light episode is very dark, and we didn't get some of the footage until too late that we needed, like the chase footage. So now I was like, oh my God, how are we going to make this an episode? But there was enough. You know, we normally do Wrestling with Ghosts in chronological order, no matter what happens. And we caught the Causey Light right in the beginning of the episode. And I'll tell you this. Now, we see it. We're like, what is it? And then, like, Luke is, and it's good for the drama of the show. Luke's like, that's a car. You guys are stupid as hell. And we're like, that's not a car. And he's like, it's a car. And just because you're 7 feet tall, you can tell everybody shut up, I guess. But he's like, it's a car. Quit being stupid. And we're like, I don't know. I saw, and I said, I saw the light go into the ground. But if you look at the episode, and Amber, you were doing the camera because Justin's camera, we didn't get the footage until too late. I got some later for B-roll or whatever. But you can see that the light that we capture changes color. There's like an amber, that's what, and then there's like an orange, like a night watchman, and then there's parts that are red that come out, and then there's almost like some flowing like colors coming from the outside. And then we were out there for at least an hour, and we didn't see one car, or we didn't see one car, except for when we drove, and some of us stayed behind to see what a car would look like coming down the road. And it was night and day. I mean, the car looked like it had blue headlights compared to the orange and red. They appeared, it was obviously a car. You could only see the lights when it was close by. And so it was really unique. Now, what is a ghost light? We talk about that on the show, what that could be scientifically. And the craziest thing about the Causey Light is that there's no backstory. There's not a train that killed a bunch of children that were playing marbles on the track. And, there's not a beheaded ghost, caboose man with a lantern going, stay off the tracks. There's the train. There's none of that.
It's interesting though, because I don't know if it was caught on the camera, but I could see almost like a swinging, like a lamp before a bigger light appeared, almost like a train. It was like the craziest thing.
Well, definitely. I mean, this isn't, if you're watching this show or whatever, you can see us, but I mean, you don't have to see the episode to kind of get what we were on a train track, and we're not in Tennessee, and we're not in Virginia, we're not in Maryland or anything like that. We're not in Colorado. It's South Carolina. So you could shoot a gun down this track and the bullet would not, if you shot it straight enough, I mean, the bullet would just keep going down the track. There is no deviation. So, and the tree line is pretty consistent through that area, and it adorns both sides of the track. So, there's no way that a car could be down there. That was not a car. I don't know if that was a ghost, a demon, an alien, or whatever, but it was not a car. It could have been a human being with a flashlight. I don't think so. Hey, congrats to all the Big and Funky crew. Oh, we've been getting a lot of stuff in here. Yay. I don't know. Tracy's trying a new gimmick here. She's trying to gain weight, I guess. And somebody said, why is Tracy eating nonstop? Her sound sucks, so she's just going to eat tonight, which is good. It looks like she's sometimes worried about how thin the girl is. So she's chowing down. Eat up. If it's going to get you to gain a couple pounds so you can get that ass back, eat that, girl. So anyway, So yeah, that was crazy. So your question was actually about the Circle Cemetery. So that was like
Yeah.
the second episode. So the thing about what happened at the Devil's Cemetery or the Circle Cemetery down in Green Sea was my voice was replicated using the spirit box. And there's a sequence, and it actually happens near the beginning of the episode, which I think, and Luke swears to this, and he swears to it on camera. Now, do you remember this? So Luke was shooting the beginning, and I think it was me and Candy and Travis, and we were talking and doing something. Because Tracy was kind of walking around by herself during that episode. She wasn't really on camera very much, and Justin wasn't on camera in the beginning. So it was us three, and then there was a moment where Luke is filming us, and over the camera, you hear Luke's voice just plain as day go, Amber. And then in the camera, you hear a female's voice. You've kind of got this sweet, kind of sing-songy voice, and it was your voice-ish. It could have been your voice that went, yeah, it just whispered. Now, Luke swears on a stack of Bibles that was not his voice. Now,
Right.
It sounds just like his fucking voice. Now, I don't know if he was wrong, if he was trying to do something for television, which we've never done before, we've never needed.
No.
But I can't prove or disprove that wasn't Luke's voice. But
I remember that.
What do you remember of it?
So I remember I was standing a little bit outside of the circle because you guys were kind of around the grave, and he was above the tombstone, shooting from the tombstone. And I remember feeling like someone walked behind me, and I thought maybe it was Tracy. And then right as that happened, he looks at me with this shocked look on his face and said, "Did you hear that?" And I didn't hear anything. And he's like, "Someone said your name in my voice." And and I was like, "Oh shit!" This sounded like someone, because I felt like that presence behind me at the same time. That voice happened.
Well, you know how close Luke and I are, and we have been doing this show for 5 years, and we fired people for faking evidence before because we don't need it. We've never needed it. We've done a couple shows where nothing happened. Okay, whatever. We didn't air those because they suck. Because you don't want a bunch of people just looking in the darkness going, well, this sucks. And you can feel the one thing, I'm not a super paranormal person. It is a nice hobby. I do enjoy making the show. I am more of a believer than a skeptic now. But when there's no activity, dude, it's like looking at a woman you're not sexually attracted to and you have to have sex. There's that zero feeling. Like
dead.
It's like deader than 3 o'clock. You're just like, I gotta have sex with this person. Oh my God. It's just, I don't feel it. Then there's when it's hopping, it feels like you're about to have sex with the most gorgeous woman you've always lusted after. You're just like, oh, everything's happening. So there's this charge and then lack of charge. And so there's episodes like that. So that the cemetery, and then later we went to, it was funny how we did it. We we did the Causey Light gimmick, and then we went to the Devil's Cemetery. Then we were supposed to go to this place that had so much crazy evidence, and none of us felt anything at that point.
No, that even was dead.
Yeah, and that was odd. So you would think if we were trying to falsify something, we would try to. And I don't have enough time, and I'm not creative enough to make a lot of the stuff that happens on Wrestling with Ghosts is really clever, and like the ghosts are funny. And Tracy, you can chime in if you're done eating. You can chime in anytime, honey. So, okay. You look cute tonight, by the way. So I don't mind looking at you eating. So you got your makeup and your little fresh face. So it's okay. You could just eat away. That's a good gimmick for you tonight. And chug that vodka out of the jug or whatever, whiskey or whatever, gin. So anyway, yeah, sure. Hey, nobody's ever put alcohol into one of those things, I'm sure. So anyway, moonshine. So anyway, Luke's voice, once you see this episode, man, it's Luke's voice. And we've had that happen with us before when we were doing Spearfinger. The Queen Travis, Luke, Candy, and myself investigated Spearfinger where we shot the hike, and that was before you two were on the team. And we were in the Nolan Creek Trail. You guys got to check that out one day. It's one of our favorite spots, but it's where we filmed a lot of the stuff. And we heard Luke's voice on the trail. And that's why we made the movie The Hike. It's because we were investigating Spearfinger, and Spearfinger is a modern day siren. She's a mimic. She's a Cherokee mimic. She shapeshifts. But Luke's voice was right behind it. Hey guys, Luke's got a pretty unique voice for down south. And yeah, right. Houston was like drinking water, quote unquote. So, but this sounds 10 times more like Luke's voice than the Spearfinger episode. I mean, it's Luke's voice. I don't know if he blacked out. I don't know if he's full of shit, which I doubt. Could have been. But if you didn't hear him say that, and you're saying right now that you because I like when Luke gets spooked or whatever. He gets those big eyes.
He got spooked. He had his eyes were like this big.
Yeah.
And it was like instantaneous, the presence, and we made eye contact, and his eyes were like this.
Well, right after, you probably heard this, and there's a difference between a disembodied voice and an EVP. A disembodied voice is something that all humans can hear. So it's like it's a disembodied voice. It just like, if we're talking and we're having a nice conversation, it's like hearing my voice, but there's nobody there. An EVP is something nobody can pick up on, and some sort of electronic device has to pick it up. And so the disembodied voice apparently was Luke's, and then the EVP was the female kind of Amber response of, yeah. And what's crazy, I always want people to listen to WWG, the Wrestling with Ghost show, in their headphones, because the stereo spread is nuts. Like when I edit this stuff, and I'm wee hours in the morning, I can hear, it's funny, but you get used to your friends. I know when Travis is breathing, because I know who's holding the camera by people's asthma or people's black lung from cigarette smoking. I can hear how they're breathing. That's Luke. That's Travis. I can hear that. I can hear myself. If I'm breathing too, like if I'm fat and out of shape when we're doing an episode and I'm had to walk 10 feet and hold the camera, I'm like,
what did I sound like?
Perfect. Fucking professional. You didn't sound at all. The camera was moving and you're like, hello, pardon me, the camera's moving. Would you guys like to come behind the tombstone with me? Because you got spooked even though we were like only 3 feet away. But you can understand, I can hear the grunts and snorts, and I go, that's so and so. But the crazy thing is that was Luke's voice, and that was right in the left ear. I heard that. Hey, it was just total stereo. And so so when people say that stuff's bullshit, man, I don't know if that's a ghost or whatever, man, but it's crazy stuff. And then there was something that, if you guys remember, we were taking off, like Candy said there was like a little old lady that was buried there that she knew that went to her old church from years ago. And then I trying to make that sexual by taking off my clothes. And it was like disembodied, like a guy's voice going, whoa, that came through. It was just weird. It's like the responses are appropriate to what's happening. That's the weird thing about it. And it's just so strange. I mean, still doing this after all this time. If I go back and watch the episodes, I'm just like, I can't believe that shit is happening. I mean, we've had so many things. And I really thought those two, Tracy's going to say something. And I really thought those two episodes were going to be duds because of how fast we shot them and stuff, but they're really good. And The Devil's Cemetery, which is the 5th episode of the 3rd season, is a 22-minute episode, but per capita, it probably has more. It probably has more EVPs than anything else. Like if we doubled it, that would have been amazing. The Rabbit Man house was insane. And then Mary Death Antiques had a lot, but that one had a lot. I think one of the voices, I can't remember, said Tracy. Yes. One said Amber. One said Travis. One was my voice saying something like I would say, kind of snarky and short or curt, being funny. Like nobody said anything about Candy, which was odd, and nothing was in Candy's voice and nothing was in Justin's voice, but the thing that was in Luke's voice was insane. So you guys, Intrigue TV, Saltbox, Asai TV. Asai TV is the easiest way to get it if you live down here, because Intrigue TV is kind of a Northeastern show or network. And Saltbox is for like old people. That's an interesting name for. They like Candy too. So I was told the distributor was like, anything with Candy, these old people in Saltbox like her. So we've made some money off the hike on Saltbox. So, but
Nice.
Asai TV, ASY TV is where you can find these new episodes. They're coming out, I think, in June. So that's kind of cool too. So that's the Wrestling with Ghost recap. Do you have either one of you have any other questions or curiosities about either one of those episodes?
No, I'm just excited to actually see them all together because it's all trapped in my memory, but we were so tired that night that it was kind of also a blur.
We're kind of old.
Yeah, we are.
I felt like I was in one of those movies about things that you do in Las Vegas. Like that there would be a baby that would be strapped to an ergo on me at some point during that evening. And I would be responsible for this baby, but it would actually be a baby doll. Like I was half expecting that to happen. It was the weirdest night.
You were out of it. You were not yourself that night.
I was so tired.
Walking around the grave. Well, you're on camera for 2 seconds.
And my finger was broken.
Yeah, you had a rough night. But it was the pictures of us at Waffle House tell the tale. We look like we went to state and we got our ass kicked in the championship or something. It was just like we're all like,
oh my gosh,
we got beat by 48 points from the school from Memphis. Jesus. That was embarrassing.
I don't even remember eating food. I just know that we ate.
That was like 75% of the way through a Quentin Tarantino movie.
Wow.
That was the rotation of the camera. Yeah.
But there was it was some video of us south of the border. That episode has a little bit of education about what a ghost light is, because we're just so smart. Going through the hurricane towns, us eating swamp bog, which Candy was so proud of. And that tasted like white ass. It was the whitest thing I ever ate in my life.
It was so bad.
Oh, it was, man. I was like, where's the hot sauce? And then like Justin bought, the only hot sauce he had was like those hot sauces you buy at a tourist on a trip, where some guy goes in and buys like ass death or whatever. You get some sort of like ghost pepper infused with Satan's tail himself. And so they had to open those. So I put like this ridiculously hot shit. And that's what made Travis, if you remember, Travis had to go crap out of the Kazi Light. So
you did. You got so sick.
And I have no idea how he took care of that with his own pants. But God bless him. But I had that was actually, this is actually embarrassing. And Luke's the one that normally talks about poop and stuff. But I killed Candy's bathroom that night. So the swamp bog no. Thumbs down. I'm sorry. I felt bad for killing. I was like, that was her bedroom, her and her husband's bathroom, and the funk was not defeated. I'll tell you that much. It stayed in that bathroom for hours, I'm sure. But so swamp bog, no thanks.
Oh gosh.
Not a fan. Loved the area though. Thought it was beautiful. Can't wait to shoot there for Camp Smoky. So talking about the movies, ladies.
Yes.
Coming out on May 3rd. And we found out what's been fun is my distributor has apparently been on a cruise, because apparently he wants botulism, which is what I associate all cruises with now. Like I cannot think of a Carnival cruise without thinking of about 1,000 people puking and crapping on each other, just because there's always reports of massive botulism and diarrhea and stuff. COVID.
I've been on 2 and that never happened. but I wouldn't cruise now because of COVID. It becomes like a quarantine ship. I don't want to be stuck out at sea.
It's like a diseased vessel. It's like they should drop a bomb on it. It's like get all the white pasty people on the ship, and we'll just take them out to sea and drop a bomb, kill all the disease in the United States. Those places,
all the white people who get cornrows whenever they go to Mexico. It's fantastic.
right? Yeah, just wipe them out. I had a gay associate of mine who he was a dispatcher for a taxi cab company that I started working at. And he was, I'm telling you, the stereotypical Charles Nelson Riley. Who was the guy that was on Hollywood Squares? He was a gay guy back in the 80s.
I'm about to Google it now.
He was always on there. And he was always like, he was a stereotypical, energetic, homosexual guy. You know, it's a total stereotype. Most gay men are not like this, but he is one of the reasons. I think he was on a show called, that had like, the guy, oh my God, I'm just spacing like, oh, I know this guy's name.
What's his first name?
Something with a J.
John Davidson?
No, James J. Riley.
Jim J. Bullock?
Jim J. Bullock. Thank you. Jim J. Bullock, stereotypical, hello, you know, that kind of guy. You know, you see him in the morning. So we had a dispatcher who was, and this guy always talked about gay sex, which is really weird around taxi cab drivers in Knoxville, Tennessee, because these guys are probably about 30 years behind the curve, most of them that work at this place. They're not progressive, so they're always kind of weirded out that a gay guy's around anyway. They're polite and they become friends with him, but as soon as he starts talking about getting rammed or ramming things or whatever, that the guys are always like, I'm getting the fuck out of here. You know, they just take off or whatever. So, but this guy was hilarious. I love listening to this guy talk. He told me, this is so weird. I just thought about this yesterday because I was in Hall's Crossroads and I was going by this little chintzy travel agency on Broadway. And it like had like 4 chairs inside and 2 computers. And it's a little, and I'm like, how is this place still in business with COVID and the fact that everybody can book their own shit online? How are travel agencies still in business? So I thought of this because it's the last time I've ever heard anybody talk about having a travel agent. So he was wanting to go on a cruise and he didn't want to spend a lot of money, duh. And so he worked at a taxi cab company. So his agent said, well, it's going to cost this amount of money. And he was like, oh God, or whatever. And the guy was like, okay, tell you what, I can get you on a cruise cheap, but you may not care about it going. He goes, and he told him, I can get you on a cruise to whatever it was, Bermuda or Mexico or whatever. And he goes, I don't care. I want to go. And it's really cheap. He's like, sign me up. So he goes down there and finds out it's a senior citizen nude cruise. Everybody is nude. Everybody is old except for Steven. His name was Steven. And I said, what did you do? And he said, I just laid on the deck the whole time and I had my fedora all the way down, covering my face. He goes, I could not look up. I could not look out. It was a miserable time. You know, he just the entire time when he was outside. So anyway, Gary is on one of these old men gay cruises or something. I don't know, naked cruises or whatever. So Gary is our distributor with Burning Bulb for this movie. So I can't talk to him right now because he's on a damn cruise. But apparently, in his absence from being able to communicate to Americans, and he's on vacation, he doesn't want to talk shop, but WJHC and The Hike have blown up everywhere. So there was a question for a long time, when is The Hike coming out, the bigger, funkier edition, which is where we added some stuff to the movie, and when is WJHC coming out? And a couple nights ago, maybe 3 nights ago, I was like, kind of sweating, because it's getting close to May 3rd, which is our release date. So I just, in the middle of the night, 3 a.m, I put a search in, and it's like all these websites that are selling pre-orders of the DVD. And we were all like, oh man, it's happening. And it was really cool to see. And the really cool thing too is that last night that WJHC it actually moved up to number 23 in Amazon's top new horror movies.
Yes.
So and it's not even released yet. These are things that are supposed to be released, and very, very exciting. And I can't wait for people to see this movie that we started shooting last year. And
Yes.
we started shooting it last year this month, and
a year ago last weekend.
Yep. And it takes a while. We went through that movie pretty quick. I could have got it out probably a couple months earlier, but it takes a while to get those things rocking and rolling. And I will forever be happy with that movie for what it is. I mean, people got to go in understanding it's a campy horror comedy, but it is a better movie than it should be. And people that have seen it, most of them have been like, man, that's not just a good, big and funky, because people are used to our skits and stuff, right? And people are like, okay, it's like a 2-hour skit. They're like, that's a good fucking movie. That's not just like, that's not just, I like you and it's funny to see you guys have fun. That's like, that was a good movie. So, and there's a lot of layers to it. I can't wait for people to see it. So have you guys, when's the last time you saw the movie? Was it the premiere?
I watched it the 2 days after the premiere with Sam because he was in the hospital. And so we were able to watch it at home. That's the last time I've seen it.
So it's been a while for you guys.
Mm-hmm.
What's crazy is I'm sick of it because I edited it I edited that one pretty quickly. I think I did that in 3 or 4 months tops, but I'm sick of it. I've seen it 8,000 times, but I'm sick of the hype too. Especially I had to re-edit the hype, but you guys, it's one of those movies that you can watch it a few times and there's new stuff that pops out, new stuff that tickles you every time. And the only thing right now, if I watch the movie now, the only thing that makes me laugh now, because I've seen this goddamn movie 1,000 times, is the scene with Herb Himes, where he's the preacher with black hair. Yeah. And he's just like, I got to keep it together. Keep it together. I just got to keep it together. Because it's such a perfect encapsulation of what I saw myself. So I can't wait. So if you're watching this with us, 2 beautiful women and this hairy monster sitting here talking to you the whole time, I would order it on Amazon.com because that's going to get us probably streaming. And I think the prices are pretty cheap for Amazon. There's some places on Spanish eBay, they're wanting $35 for them DVDs. I wouldn't pay that shit. But I think Amazon's DVD was $14 and the Blu-ray is pretty close to. And that's probably one of the cheapest places to get them of all the stores online at this point that are offering them. And then if you don't want to buy, it looks like already there's a streaming service that has picked it up called Plex. I've
heard of Plex.
I've heard of Plex, but it will be on WJHCAM will be on Plex. So if you have Plex, do I have Plex? I was listening to somebody else the other day. Do I have Tubi? I was hearing that. It's funny. People don't know what they have anymore. Do I have Tubi? Do you have Tubi?
All the streaming services are becoming like the 500 DirecTV channels. Like you have so many to choose from.
That's a good observation because that was the whole allure, is that everything was on Amazon, Netflix, and Hulu. Hulu was like, do we need Hulu? We need to get Hulu.
Yeah.
Do we need Hulu? I don't know. And then now it is like, oh my God, it's a cacophony of streaming services. We're getting back to the same shit. So then there'll be something else that'll come out and go, simplify your life.
Yeah, and all the ads are becoming the 3-minute commercial breaks.
Well, isn't that true? And that's why that's why streaming was better because, well, that's the funny thing. Cable was supposed to have no commercials back when it first came out. That's why they charged you because you gotta have money. Then they slip in. It's just like everything else. They slip in hey, you got no commercials. Then it's like, wow, we can make more money if we charge commercials. So then they fucking bait and switch you, and then you're screwed.
Yep. It's frustrating.
Yeah. So what's been going on with your music?
It's going really well. We're booking weddings. We already have a couple interests for 2023, which is exciting. We've had a newspaper reach out to us to do an article on us that we didn't even contact. Somehow they got our name. So we're really excited about doing that too.
Good for you. Well, I told you this is. I was excited for you because I think it was something that this area doesn't have. I don't remember. I was in music for many years. I don't remember really a tandem of women going around playing the kind of stuff that you do. And if you're watching this, I mean, before the week's over, we'll get a couple of hundred people watching this thing. I mean, if you're in the East Tennessee area, I guess you could anywhere in the South or the Midwest, and they have cars, and you're getting married, you can check out Amber and her little violin buddy, the little fiddler. But they're both, what's it called?
Amber Dawn Music.
Now try again. Let's do something else.
No,
Need something
no.
flashier.
Amber Dawn. I like it because it's on the nose and also has her name. It's a description of the sunset in East Tennessee, or a sunrise in East Tennessee, or it's also our names. So I thought it was clever.
Well, she's got a master's degree. Shouldn't her in music? Shouldn't her name be first?
We went alphabetical order.
God,
It rolls better.
I hate alphabetical order. We always.
I mean, with Dawn Amber, would that sound better?
Well, I just think the hierarchy.
That sounds like Yoda speak. Amber Dawn is better.
Or Spanish
Thank
being
you.
translated to English.
Exactly. But yeah, we
Thank
have
you,
a
Tracy, for
Facebook
that.
page. We have a Facebook page, Amber Dawn Music, YouTube page, Amber Dawn Wedding Music, and we have an Instagram also, which is Amber Dawn Music.
Isn't that exciting?
Yep.
No, that's good. You guys are really good. So when did you find out that you were actually good at playing piano? It seemed you were talking about it took you a while because you had all these negative voices. What was the catalyst to where you actually like, I can do this and make money?
Yeah, I knew I was talented, but I didn't know like to the level of talent that I was until I started working with Dawn and having someone with that level of training say, I wish I could do what you do. You're phenomenal at what you do. That kind of changed something in my brain, kind of turned a light switch for me. No, man, I'm actually really good at what I do, and I should be proud of it. So it kind of jumped my confidence up leaps and bounds. And so,
well, a little bit of encouragement can go a long way, especially from somebody who's an expert. And the things that we don't realize is like people we know, the three of us know that we're all a bunch of shitheads, but people are viewing what we've done. They think that we're actually people that know what the fuck we're doing and we're talented and stuff like that. Yeah. And so I'm not going to tell a tale, but I went somewhere this week to perform a certain thing. I had some sort of job to perform, and everybody there treated me like I was, I don't know, man, Dave Chappelle or something. I mean, everybody hugging me and giving me gifts and stuff. And it was sweet, but it was like, they were treating me like but like what you can use that instead of getting all inflated ego about that kind of shit. Cause I know this stuff is barely that we bubble gum and spit. This stuff is barely together. You know, I mean, we're working our ass off to get this thing off the ground and we've done some nice things with it, but, and we've made some work that we're proud of, but we're still far away from yacht land where where we can hire Amber Dawn to play on the deck as we deep sea fish off of Maldives or something. But I guess you guys would scare the fish away, so forget about that. Maybe we'll go out on the Caribbean cruise and get botulism and watch the naked people. But the old geriatric. Your microphone's off, Tracy. Okay. So she's just talking about that. She's just having a good time tonight. So anyway, But, you know, a little encouragement when somebody views you up here, even though you shouldn't be, to the people. Because, yeah, I mean, the thing is, you play the piano amazingly, and that's your gift. You're good at a lot of different things, but that's not everybody can do what you do, man. That's pretty fucking wild. And you know, now that Luke has improved in the last little bit. He's got his game together, so his music show's improved too. What are you doing there, Tracy? Just chilling. Somebody in the chat wants to see if you can eat a nice taco salad before we're out. Maybe we got some perverts.
Well,
That want to see
I don't have any taco salad to. No.
But you haven't. Can we talk about what
I've
you
run
do
out
on
of
the
all my
side?
snacks.
Oh,
I ate them all.
well, it took 50 minutes. That's pretty good for a girl skinny as you are.
I'm hungry. I need to stay alive.
I know, right? That's the whole purpose of food. Yeah, it's not anything else. All right. Well, thanks for checking in. You can zone back out now. Okay.
We are getting ready to release a cover of "Sweet Child of Mine." I'm really excited about that one.
Are you playing the bass part with your left hand?
I am.
The do 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 do. Are you doing that?
And then she takes the lead. Yep.
Wow, pretty cool. Well, I hate Guns N' Roses, but I always liked playing that when I was in bands because it was kind of fun. Yeah, it's fun because it was weird they let a bass player do that part of one of their songs like that. But now people love watching you eat, Tracy, but you can't pick your GD teeth now. That's where we draw the line.
Popcorn kernel
you can go.
Underneath
This thing is a very narrow window. You can just stick your head over 3 inches, get all the shit out of your skull.
That's not as funny.
It's not funny.
Uh-huh.
Girls are supposed to be pretty, and boys are supposed to be funny.
Why
Don't you
it's
know?
funny?
Yeah. Well, then I'm going to start putting on eye makeup. We'll
Okay.
Totally.
I think you'd look beautiful.
Yeah,
you know, I have done your makeup before, Vinny. I could throw on some eyeliner next time.
There ain't nothing wrong with stage makeup. Make your features pop.
I mean, in the hands of a master, I guess. I did a.
So he's saying I wasn't good at it. Apparently,
no. Like,
no, I think you were. I mean, if you look at when you were there doing my makeup, there are moments in that movie where I do look like I'm in my early 30s, which was pretty amazing. Like the interview with Tracy, I was like, or the Nancy character, I was amazed. I was like, man, I look pretty young. And there were parts of the movie where you could tell that we didn't do. Thank you, Tracy. That we didn't do makeup for that scene or whatever. And I'm like, I look like I had a hard night behind the board. But yeah, guys, we're winding down. I can't believe we've been here talking for an hour. I don't have friends anymore. This is the only time I ever get to talk to.
I've missed you guys.
I have too. I've sent message to Travis. I miss you. Candy's like always talking to me, and we should get together. I mean, Brandon Bishop's coming to town. He put here that he'd like to do a wrestling with ghosts either May 2nd or 3rd. I don't know if we can pull something like that off, but that'd be kind of fun. I know Candy's coming in town to do a wrestling with ghosts and a couple skits or whatnot, but coming up. But I don't know when that is. I got to get that together. But it's about to be the end of the damn month. But May 3rd, actually, when Brandon Bishop's in town, when his traveling circus is blowing through East Tennessee, WJHCAM will be released. You can watch it on a couple streaming services, and we'll tell you more when we get more. Because this is just the beginning, I think, too. That's the whole thing. And we'll get these things in a couple festivals, a little bit more choice festivals. And we'll get, hopefully, Tracy. I really do think Tracy deserves acting awards for this. So we'll try to get her some sort of, that's right. You look like an 8-year-old girl that wants an ice cream cone. But yeah, we'll try to get her some accolades, and everybody deserves something from this. But really, festivals, cons, blah, blah, blah. But getting this thing out into the ether and and I can't wait for people to watch this movie. I think you're going to love this movie. It's funny as hell, and it's got, somebody the other day who watched it said it started off slow, it got funny, it got hilarious, it got campy, it got funny. There was elements where I was upset that people were not surviving, and I was feeling weird about that because I knew this was just a crazy, silly movie. But I was getting emotional, and by the end of it, I was in tears. And he goes, "I can't believe." He was like, "It was such a wild ride of a movie," and that's what I'm proud of, man. I think it was. If you have a heart, you're gonna dig it. So, what do you guys? You guys are both nodding at me. Say something.
I agree wholeheartedly.
Beautiful.
2 thumbs up. Wait.
That's why you get.
Where? Yeah.
There you go. Yeah. Field goal.
Yep.
Yeah. So what are you doing there, Amber?
What am I doing?
How you doing?
I'm doing great. How you doing?
I'm doing good.
When are we going on our dinner date? You owe me some food.
When are we scheduling the filming? Like, I keep waiting for a script breakdown. Like, maybe if I pin you down in public.
Hey, man, it's me and Luke. And Luke is performing 7 days a week, and I got to get. I don't know how we're going to film this. I mean, that's an area of concern. Is he's going to have to take some time off to film this fucking thing. But the cool thing about Camp Smokey is I do think it's going to be of the 3 movies, it will be the easiest to knock out fast. I think.
Knock on wood.
Knock on wood.
We need to. There's a schedule. Like everybody has a lot of things going on, and we need to coordinate.
I'm knocking. Me and Luke are knocking that out this weekend. So,
yeah.
And then we'll get that figured out for you, boss. We'll get that scheduled for you. All right, ladies. I don't want to see that anymore. Did she freeze? I think she froze.
Did she? I have no idea.
Yeah, that wasn't even her being funny. She just froze.
Oh. Oops.
That was crazy. You froze like that.
I froze like what?
Horrible face. I thought you were just being funny for it was worse than that. Yeah, it was.
No, I'm sure it probably was on purpose, but I didn't mean to stick that way because I try to keep it relatively mobile so that the wrinkles they have a general area.
You're giving them a workout. Yeah, I dig that.
Yeah.
All right, ladies. Well, I love you both. It's good talking to you, and I can't wait for this movie to be seen by multitudes of people, and it's going to be great. It's going to be great.
It is. It's going to be fantastic.
All right, guys. Again, WJHCAM is releasing on May 3rd. Don't forget about the hike with bigger. If you like the hike, the new one's going to have additional scenes and stuff like that. You're going to flip out for those things. I lost my virginity.
Freak out. Freak out. Yeah.
All right, baby dolls.
I'm not a baby doll.